Welcome to AnimeFan Narrations, Solo Leveling, Episode 21, Chapter 72.
They're pretty reliable.
Even though they were part of his skill, they felt like comrades who had his back. This gave Jinwoo a sense of security.
Facing that thing head-on is a bit
Risky, mostly because of the massive wooden club that Volkhan wielded.
It's impressive there's a tree big enough to make that.
Given Vulcan's enormous size and the club's magnitude, one swing could obliterate his entire army.
Well, getting wiped out is okay.
The issue was his limited mana for regenerating his entire army. Jinwoo realized his mana would quickly deplete if he recklessly charged the demon with all his forces. So, he had only one option.
That musclehead is mine.
His soldiers would handle the lesser demons surrounding Volkhan, while Jinwoo would take on the giant demon himself. He believed this was the most effective approach for the battle.
I just have to avoid getting hit.
Unlike his soldiers, Jinwoo trusted his ability to evade Volkhan's attacks. He commanded the shadow mages to initiate the attack.
The ranged attacks will draw the lesser demon's attention. Once that lumbering giant is behind the high-level demons, I'll confront it directly.
The plan was simple.
Now.
At his command, fireballs shot from the shadow mages' hands. The fireballs exploded near the demons around Volkhan, signaling the battle's start.
The Overlord of the lower floors, Vulcan of Avarice, has noticed an intruder. Vulcan's bodyguard has noticed. Vulcan's bodyguard has noticed.
The notifications sounded repeatedly. With the alerts, Vulcan and his guards turned their focus to Jinwoo.
All right.
They had managed to capture the enemy's attention. Jinwoo activated stealth. His plan was to sneak around the lesser demons and reach Volkhan. Everything seemed to be going as planned, or so he thought. To Jinwoo's surprise, Vulcan was the first to charge at the Shadow Army. If it weren't for the impending tough battle, it would have been almost humorous. Instead of moving sluggishly, the enormous demon sprinted towards them, almost like...
What the heck? Why is it moving so fast? It's like a video on fast forward.
Indeed, Vulcan reached them in no time. Leaving his bodyguards behind, the giant demon stopped in front of the shadow soldiers.
I messed up.
Jinwoo's eyes widened in shock. The demon's huge body moved with a speed that defied logic. Volkhan raised its club and brought it down. As the club descended toward the unprotected shadow mages, Iron appeared out of nowhere, raising his pitch-black shield to block. It was a valiant effort. Though the giant knight managed to block the attack, Iron's two arms were completely shattered. The shadow soldier with the highest defense was rendered useless with a single blow. Pieces of Iron's broken arms fell to the ground. As if puzzled by its own attack, Volkhan tilted its head and examined the club. But the demon's confusion lasted only a moment. The wooden club came down again. With no way to defend, Iron and the shadow mages behind him were crushed effortlessly. Watching this, something snapped inside Jinwoo.
You bastard.
The hunter bit his lower lip. His body moved before his mind could process it. Before he knew it, Jinwoo was airborne, heading straight for Vulcan. His target was clear. Compared to its massive body, the demon's head was tiny. Jinwoo twisted his hips in midair, pulling his right arm back. The muscles in his arm and shoulder tensed. As he concentrated all his strength into his clenched fist, stealth was released. Volkhan noticed Jinwoo too late. Jinwoo wasn't about to miss at this close range. His fist shot forward like a bullet, hitting Volkhan's face. The giant demon was sent flying backward. Vulcan rolled on the ground for a while, finally stopping when it crashed into a building's skeletal remains. The remnants of the building crumbled when the giant demon slammed into it. Jinwoo landed gracefully on the ground, surprised.
Why did he fly so far?
He looked at his fist in disbelief. There wasn't a scratch on the fist that had blown away the giant demon. Then it dawned on him.
Oh, right.
Jinwoo glanced up.
Stats: Strength, 150. Constitution, 109. Agility, 139. Intelligence, 109. Sense, 111. Available stat points, 0. Physical damage reduction, 46%.
I forgot.
Due to mainly acquiring assassin-class skills and obtaining a mage class, Jinwoo had overlooked something.
Strength, 150.
Even though he had recently focused on boosting his intelligence, his strength was still nearly 50% higher.
I really put a ridiculous amount of points into that, huh?
Additionally, he had rapidly increased his levels in the past few days. Seeing the stats, he could truly feel his progress, and the result of that growth was evident. Jinwoo stared at Volkhan's body in the rubble, unable to believe it. It was hard to gauge his strength against the lower and mid-level demons, but using his powers against a boss-level monster gave him confidence.
I have become strong.
Strength surged through Jinwoo's fist and radiated throughout his entire body. Suddenly, the familiar electronic tone rang.
What now?
Jinwoo looked up. Vulcan used its club to support itself as it rose from the ground.
Is it warning me that the monster is getting up?
Had the system ever been this considerate? With a tilted head, Jinwoo realized the true meaning of the system's warning tone.
The Overlord of the lower floors, Vulcan of Avarice, has used rage.
Huh?
It will permanently enter a state of rage. Vulcan's all attributes are increased by 50%. Vulcan cannot feel any pain.
That skill is...
Before Jinwoo could recall Cerberus, Vulcan charged at him with blood-red eyes. The ground trembled with each thunderous footstep. Jinwoo quickly glanced back. His shadow soldiers and Volkan's minions were locked in fierce combat. Amidst the chaotic battle, Jinwoo spotted Iron. Vulcan's immense power was evident, as the giant knight was still regenerating.
Iron.
Jinwoo shouted. His knight immediately understood his command. Iron hurled his shield with great force towards Jinwoo. The hunter deftly caught it mid-air. When he looked forward again, Volkan was already upon him.
If I dodge, my soldiers will be hit.
Defeating Vulcan and his minions without his army would be impossible. So, Jinwoo chose the best way to protect his soldiers. He raised the shield and focused his strength into his arms. The earth-shattering blows rained down on Jinwoo, but he held his ground. This was only possible due to his high physical damage reduction and constitution stats. Frustrated by his ineffective attacks, Volkhan began swinging his club with even more fury. Yet Jinwoo's knees didn't buckle.
Still.
Simply blocking wouldn't defeat this giant. Jinwoo frowned. Unlike Cerberus, Volkan's rage didn't have a time limit, even if it was less effective than the dog's version. He couldn't wait for it to end. Jinwoo gritted his teeth.
Being a tanker isn't really my style.
As Vulcan's club pulled back for another strike, Jinwoo leaped towards the demon's head again. However, Jinwoo wasn't the only one seizing the moment. Timing his move, Vulcan stepped back as Jinwoo flew towards him.
What?
Jinwoo saw the club swinging towards him horizontally.
He got me.
If he were on the ground, it would be a different story. But midair, there was no way to dodge. Even if he blocked, he would be sent flying. In his perception of slowed time, Jinwoo saw the club approaching in slow motion.
Is there anything I can do?
If only he could move his body somehow. Suddenly, an idea struck him.
What if I could move my body?
There was no time to think. Jinwoo quickly used Ruler's hands to try and push Volkan. Moving that enormous body with his current skill level was impossible. However, the recoil pushed Jinwoo's body backward instead. The tip of the club passed right in front of his eyes.
Thank you, Newton Ajusi.
Due to the sudden movement, Jinwoo lost his balance and rolled on the ground, but it was far better than getting hit by the club.
Phew.
Jinwoo collected himself and sighed in relief. Meanwhile, Vulcan's face twisted in anger. Missing its target made every inch of its body tremble with rage. Seeing the demon's face turn red, Jinwoo scratched his head.
Now what?
It had shown it could dodge when he jumped at its head. Also, Jinwoo doubted he could do much damage to the rest of its massive body.
Is there any way to stop it from dodging?
Jinwoo formulated a plan. A smirk appeared on his face. He spun around and dashed away. Thinking Jinwoo was trying to escape, Volkan gave chase at full speed. Jinwoo kept his speed just right, so Volkan stayed close behind. His eyes gleamed when he spotted a perfect building.
That'll do.
Meanwhile, as the distance between them shrank, the demon swung its club. This pesky bug. The opportunity to crush this annoyance was finally here. A malicious grin spread across Volkan's face. But as the club came down, Jinwoo suddenly accelerated and ran up the side of a crumbling building. Something felt wrong, but it was too late to stop. The insect on the building reached eye level with the demon, then launched himself off the structure with all his might. The wall he kicked off cracked like a spider's web, and something shot toward Volkan's face faster than it could react. It was Jinwoo. Volkan's eyes widened in shock. Jinwoo met its gaze with a grin. Holding Baruka's tanto in his right hand, Jinwoo slashed the bulging artery in the demon's neck. As expected for its enormous size, blood spurted out like a fountain from the wound. Vulcan dropped its club and quickly pressed a hand to the wound. But it wasn't enough to stem the bleeding. The giant demon's eyes started to quiver. Jinwoo had already climbed onto its back and driven his 2 daggers into the demon's neck.
Once isn't enough?
Tilting his head, Jinwoo activated the skill again.
Vital stab.
The daggers plunged into Volkan's neck once more. At last, the victorious message appeared.
You've defeated the Overlord of the lower floors, Vulcan of Avarice. You've earned 150,000 experience points. Vulcan has regurgitated the demon souls in his stomach. You've earned 72 demon souls. You've leveled up. You've leveled up.
Volkan toppled. As a cloud of dust rose from its massive form, Jinwoo stepped out. He scanned his surroundings. He was about to assist his army, but it looked like they were nearly done. With the combined power of the Shadow Army, Volkhan's minions were falling swiftly.
Status screen.
Jinwoo reviewed his stats. Since he had just leveled up, his health, mana, and stamina were fully restored.
With my mana replenished, I don't need to step in.
As long as his mana lasted, the Shadow soldiers were invincible. That was the strength of his undead army. Deciding to leave the cleanup to his soldiers, Jinwoo turned back to Volkhan's corpse to collect the loot. It felt like opening presents on Christmas morning. Jinwoo couldn't help but grin as he approached Volkhan's body.
What goodies will I find?
Several lights emanated from the corpse. As usual, Jinwoo extended his hand towards the light. The item messages appeared.
You found the Monarch of Demons earrings. Would you like to acquire it? You found the Marble of Avarice. Would you like to acquire it? You found 2 Vulcan's horns. Would you like to acquire it? You found a crafting ingredient, Fragment of the World Tree. Would you like to acquire it?
Jinwoo had a good feeling during the battle with Vulcan. As expected, several items dropped from the boss's body. A joyful expression spread across the hunter's face as he examined the loot.
Thanks for watching Solo Leveling on AnimeFan Narrations. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.